Shadiversity sighting. He's wearing his protective armor. He's here to defend the maidens. He's on his alternate channel, Night's Watch, which is a very LARPy name for his right-wing politics channel. This is the literal choice of this channel if you've never seen it. It is his right-wing's politics channel. This video is called It's No Longer About Equality, It's About Revenge. And this is just one of many videos where Shadiversity literally just whines about Hollywood and the elites, and they're just too woke. They're going to go broke. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to try to, maybe we'll speed him up just a touch. Maybe we'll give him a 1.25 and see how that goes. See how we like that. He's impervious to our damage, Chad. Don't even try.
Sponsored by Ground News, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later.
What is wrong with salami?
What is wrong with salami? God damn it, Chad. Why you gotta be a chud? Makes me mad. I didn't watch this guy. Very impressive.
Welcome back to The Watch. And Chad, you like disliking Hollywood?
I
How? Buy a mic. What the fuck is happening in this?
very much dislike Hollywood. In fact, I hope
Look
it
at the
continues.
color! I'm attempting to simulate Dracula's blood!
While you were simulating Dracula's blood, I didn't realize he was actually going to say, you hate Hollywood. You just hate it. For those who are curious, Night's Watch was also the name Armored Skeptic calls his short-lived movie review channel. Ooh, small world, because low-tier sword bros have one joke. Neat. All right. You just, hey, Shad, you hate Hollywood. You're a hater. Right out the gate.
Watch. And Chad, you like disliking Hollywood?
I very much dislike Hollywood. In fact, I hope it continues to burn. They get what they deserve. It's been totally overtaken by activists, and they've just been pushing out sludge for the purpose of spreading propaganda as a primary thing for the most part.
Propaganda. True. They've been putting out sludge.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
This man didn't see Andor. Bronze Wing Prime in 6 months. Thank you so much. So embarrassing that I used to follow this guy before he went full chud. I dropped him the day I found out he was a Mormon, since I knew I could no longer trust his opinion on history. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough out there. It's interesting. I didn't know Australia had that much Mormonism happening. Pinky up. Propaganda. Propaganda. This is the type of thing that we force feminize you with an accent. And you drink it out of a teacup. You drink your estrogen right out of a tiny teacup. Yes. Propaganda. Gently force feminine. I can see that you are already on the path, good sir.
But there's a rare exception. But yeah,
She's smooth as a baby. Wow. He doesn't even have, like, he must swim. He's a swimmer, that's why. He just nared clean. For the times.
Would burn.
Yes, I agree. But until then, they are trapped in this bubble of echo chambers and you know the dribble. So
The echo chambers and the dribble. Here at Night's Watch, we're not an echo chamber. Quite, old bean. Shad, if it's not an echo chamber, or his milky friend, whose name I don't know, Milk Friend, I would love to have a discussion about whatever this video is about. I don't even know yet, but I can tell it's not headed in the right direction. I would love to talk to you about the wokes, either of you, at any time. I'm sure Shad is just far too noble to have such a discussion.
Reinforcements.
Yes.
There's everyone within this bubble telling
Chalky.
each other how great they are,
Yeah.
while most people are watching them from the
He's too
outside saying,
smooth.
you guys are horrible.
yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Who would say something like that? And recently, they've had an award ceremony of some sort.
Is he also a Mormon? Is he in the cult too?
Oh, man, if you want to see one of the most painful, if you want to push yourself, to see a group of people just circle jerking themselves and sniffing their own farts.
Whew. That sounds exactly like the porn search I'd expect from Shadiversity. Circle jerk and fart sniffing. That's got to be a thing.
Just watch these award ceremonies. Like, I barely tried years ago. I think it might have been when Will Smith slept, because I actually got some attention to the Emmys or something. But you got to see some of the lead up and everything, and they're saying how great they are, and we're such great artists, and we're making all this, and none of that, we're so important, right? And then they make except
I don't know what he's talking about. They're just who's the, is it Hollywood is very important? I guess, yeah. I mean, they did, that's their own award show. I bet so. Mormons don't hang with non-Mormons. Yeah, not usually.
speeches, a platform to lecture everyone else about how they need to, act when they are some of the most corrupt bullcrap people, which is why I found the Will Smith slap hilarious, because it was a face-off where these are such narcissistic, self-centered, arrogant people, right?
Will Smith is a Scientologist. It's like, this is like an own goal. Mormons and Scientologists should fight it out, I think. Put Tom Cruise in. He does his own stunts. You know he's good in a fight. You know he is. They're upset about the award show. I don't care. Don't watch the award show. Just like me. I've never watched one. I really don't think I've watched an Emmy Award show one time. The chainmail I use to clean my cast iron pan is more real than what this nerd wears. You use chainmail to wash your cast iron pan? This one is a certified badass. This one got that chainmail from an enemy he cut down with his own sword. The Warhammer.
And that really revealed it in an additional thing, because you can see it every screen. Yeah.
But that's perfect. That's exactly what leads into it. Because recently they had a women's award night, basically, where they...
I wouldn't have to...
Women? Are they mad about women's award nights? What?
You can see it every screen. Yeah.
But that's perfect. That's exactly what leads into it. Because recently they had a women's award night, basically, where they...
Why did they stop talking?
I wouldn't have too much an issue with this if there was a men's awards night.
No, but the regular...
We need an update to the Are We the Baddies thing. And it's like, are we the wokies? Is it us? Are we the ones that are trying to be too granular about this? Well, if they just had a men's night too. I don't know, man. Why the men always got to be left out? When's White History Month? Yeah, Chad doesn't feel special. So, I mean, I don't think I have to describe to this chat or the viewers here that when you are a white man and your representation and participation vastly outweighs your actual representation in the population. Like, we have more white people with positions of power and privilege than any other group, and that's not just, and then, that's by design. It's part of white supremacy. Like the fact that Shad lives in Australia is an aspect of white supremacy. The fact that I live in America is white supremacy, right? So like, whoa, hang on. His revelation is that the Hollywood award show are just shitty self-serving nepotism. Yeah, I don't know. He's having revelations here. Maybe he'll be anti-capitalist by the end of the video.
Awards are for the men because of the society that we live in.
not modern day.
Well, you're not wrong there, Shad, and that's also true. But
even if it was, bullcrap. Awards should be based on merit, and if there just happens to be a large representation of men.
It is based on merit. What? That's what the awards are doing. What? We have men's only award sections. This is a thing. We have men's only competitions all over the world. Like, there's no myth. This one just has a women's only section as well.
In certain career fields, let the chips land where they are, and women have an equal opportunity to win those awards. So the narrative that they're all for men anyway is almost an admission that if women, women and men actually saying this, right? That women need a dedicated award ceremony, and not for men, because men already have their dedicated in an open playing field against men and women, is an admission on their behalf that women can't compete. When I thought women could compete in their even field.
Yes, it's kind
of... the field is evening with more and more time, but it is not even. But, he'll never understand. He'll never understand or come around on this issue. That people who have secondary access to power, right? And that is everyone but white men in most societies in the West. And I guess the Australia is that culturally, right? So, like, due to fucking colonialism. Like, how is he ever going to understand that as the marginalized community, they're going to be like, And here is us highlighting this marginalized community. Hell yeah, Yoski Broski, happy to have you.
Kind of like,
Except for sports.
I was going to say sports. Sports makes sense to have women's football and
Yes.
men's play. That makes sense to me.
But before we continue,
Of course that makes sense. You guys are Mormons. You guys are deeply you're freaks about all sorts of gender issues. All right. Is that a 2-minute ad? Holy fucking shit. Actually, 3 minutes. No, 2 minutes. Fucking 2-minute ad. Gotta do math. Goodness.
Before, just get it together. It's just kind of
unbiased news, and I think you'll find it very, very useful.
Unbiased.
but this one,
Unbiased news. That's right. At his right-wing news source.
I think, is just kind of Hollywood being Hollywood and wanting to, like you were saying before, just get it together and say how great we all are. But from this award ceremony came some mind-boggling comments. The main one for me was from Will Ferrell, who basically said, he knocked off the event. This is how he opened the event, right?
So hang on, this is an award ceremony for women.
Yes.
Why was he there?
Because he is a advocate.
Okay, did he win an award?
No. Well, he
Okay.
handed out the awards.
No. You guys and your cute little accents. I like it. No, I can't do it with my mouth. It's a mystery to me, but it's such a simple noise that I can't recreate. No.
Oh, he was there handing out the awards.
Yeah.
So hang on.
No.
Wouldn't I'm trying to think from their mindset.
Yeah.
Okay, wouldn't they feel that's condescending for a man to hand out the women awards to women? That
So not necessarily. What? Sir, how would a man serving an award to a woman be bad? They're not. Would it be weird for a woman to serve a man an award? You know? Why don't they just want only men giving them awards? Well, that's different, of course. Women are aesthetically pleasing, or some kind of fucking misogynist shit, he would say.
it's the man seeming to be from a position of
Power? Yeah.
Power?
Well, I think they would have thought that, but because of his opening lines, I think they're okay with him being there.
Okay, what did he say?
Because he said, isn't it just time for women to run the planet? Like, I'm serious. I'm not just trying to placate you, I swear. But I don't know what else to do because we, men, have run the show since, 10,000 BC, and we're not doing a good job.
Will Ferrell with a nice, good lib situation. I agree that women deserve an equal representation at the seat of power in any society that has seats of power. But mostly what we need to do is stop with the capitalism thing in markets that we can divest ourselves from it. So housing, education, food for citizens at the consumer level, healthcare, etc. You would alleviate the stress on the American populace. You would see society improve pretty much fucking overnight, and then we can address the other problems like dealing with, billionaires and stuff, and the way that they try to suck the American people dry, and everyone else in the world, because these guys are Australian. Even the Australian billionaires are ass. But women presidents is good too.
Wow. There is so much wrong with that statement, and a lot of sexism ingrained in that, and just
Women
denial of reality.
presidents.
Because I see a lot of industries that's predominantly run by women these days. Look at modern Marvel comics, right?
There's so, education, schooling, just motherhood in general. I think mothers run the world because they raise the children who come up in the future.
Well, that's the historical perspective. If anyone wants to look at history actually objectively, right, you will see women's role in the way society has been run and molded in a really significant way.
Interesting that I've heard the same exact argument from a so-called lefty. Women play a major role in society. They have secondary access to power instead of primary access to power. This is a systemic imbalance forced upon them by men, often with violence. This is not a good thing.
I hope you will have a fantastic
Google,
day.
thank you so much, Giwanari. Exmo Jimbo as well. Ooh, 60.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
69 months, Exmo Jimbo. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, to say it was only men running everything historically is unbelievable historical ignorance. Okay, were large political movements that were mostly pushed by women, because this is the thing that
Large political movements mostly pushed by women, like suffrage, like the temperance movement, civil rights. All of these are pushbacks towards patriarchy and white supremacy. Yeah, sure, yeah.
I guess these people have trouble understanding. Okay, a good leader,
us that have-
regardless of what's between their legs, is going to listen to the people they represent.
Ooh.
And for me, I give not a single crap the gender of the person that is representing me. What I care about is them representing my standards and interests, and if they are my political representative, representing me. They constituent, right? And if
It's
they do that,
very slightly sped up.
you're all on board. There's political, parties here in Australia that's led by women. Pauline Hanson. I gotta drop it. She's been winning lately, right? But she supports a lot of, conservative standards that, okay, but it doesn't matter about the gender. It matters about what they represent. Yes.
I bet it would if she said certain things. I bet her gender would come up if she said certain things for sure. She has no power. Amazing. She keeps winning, though.
And guess what? Good leaders in history, even though, predominantly men, they listen to women a lot.
Even though, predominantly men. And he would say, that's because men of the Night's Watch are better leaders. And not because they consolidated power in a patriarchal society. I just sound like Paul Joseph Watson instead of Shadiversity. That's okay. Same thing. Literally the same flavor ice cream.
In actual fact, there were large political movements that happened because of women. You want to go have a look at the history of the Prohibition? The entire banning of alcohol across the entire United States, that was mostly pushed for by women.
And why was it pushed for by women, Shad? Let's give him a couple seconds. Give a Shadiversity fan a second to be like, I fucking hate this corn guy. Get it out of your system. Yeah, I'm so fucking angry at you, Mr. Corn Guy. So women in the Prohibition era pushed for temperance or prohibition. They pushed for it because their husbands were beating them and they were being mistreated at home. And, it was alcohol, like it does so many people. I know many of them. It does so many people. It makes them just a shitty person. It just makes them a shitty person and they lose all their friends. And they're shitty to their families and they're just shitty. And that's what happens, man. So yeah, it was mostly that. Cough, my dad. Yeah. I've had more than one person in my life choose alcohol over, what they should be doing.
Like the amount of political power that women had at that time, and even at any time, right? When they band together to get their voice heard, they did it.
They did it. It was short-lived, and it's a bad policy. Prohibition's stupid. I do think if you were going to ban a substance, alcohol would be it, but I really don't think you have to. I think what you need to provide people with is a structure, a system that allows them to do a few things. Number one, it doesn't encourage them to self-medicate because they have access to mental health care, physical health care, anything they need. And typically with less stress on your life because your survival isn't dictated by, your financial success. It could still be quite stressful to live life, but we don't need to add, and also you will die. We will not help you. You will die and be criminalized if you are poor. This is what we need to get rid of, man. This is it. You would ban non-diet soda. There you go. And I wouldn't. I think You just need to give people opportunities to have safety and comfort, and they're not all going to make the right decisions. The second thing that would happen is that people that do fall into alcoholism would have access to treatment. Like you'd still have alcoholics, and if you ban it, people are still going to make it. It's easy to make it home. People know how. Cat's out of the bag. It's a substance. We have substances on Earth. We're going to have to just deal with it like adults. Be like, yeah, here's what happens when you do the substance. Here's the penalties if you do it and harm somebody. Here's the penalties if you do it and you're giving it to kids or whatever. That's fine. I understand that kind of system. But like doing it to yourself, I don't care. I really don't. You can drink yourself to smithereens. You can inject heroin. You can smoke crack. I don't care. What I do care about is that you have the opportunity to get the help you need when you've smoked a little bit too much crack. Maybe the crack was too much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe meth was just too fucking much for you. Actually, probably not recreational meth. I think that shit fucks you up. But I do think that like people who are addicted to meth should be able to get weaned off of it in a safe place with healthcare and stuff. Probably not meth at the gas station. However, maybe a little coke. Not opposed. We used to have cocaine here. It was fine. That was fine. No, I would actually don't legalize cocaine. I would like it too much. And we don't have the healthcare apparatus that I'm talking about that would help me out of my addiction.
And then that's also not to say that there weren't women leaders historically, who, by the way, were not shy of going to war as well. the whole notion that women would, everything was run by women, would never go to war and all be peace. So, all right, look at, Elizabeth. And see how things went with in terms of battles and war and other things like that, and other famous female leaders historically. All right?
He's so woke, dude. He's virtue signaling here. He's trying to be like, look, there are female battle leaders or whatever. Stupid.
Sorry, yeah, this is getting me to rant.
Yeah, but that's the point we're trying to make here. It's like that entire comment. And it's funny because through this article, people are saying, we understand history, we need to reinterpret things how they are, my truth and your truth. The way they say all these things, it's like, well, you're just spouting gobbledygook because you don't understand the core concepts. Like you're saying with history, they're saying, history is mainly written by men. It's like, well, clearly you have not read a single history book in your life. Because that's just inherently not true.
Most history authors are men. That's actually true. That's definitely true. Most people with PhDs in history are men, by a long shot. It's not really even close. The only women I had in classes with me when I was doing my history degree were in the first stages of it. I did have a really dope anthropology class, but that was still, that wasn't like advanced anthropology or anything. But the teacher was a woman; she was dope. I had a history teacher that was also a woman that was dope as well. But most everyone else, I had two of them. Most everyone else, no, every other person was a man. And then every book you read, man, there's so many. The Loner Armor isn't doing McLovin any favors. It's not. Well, it's not armor. Actually, is that supposed to be a gambeson? I think it's just a tunic.
And just because it's your truth does not mean that it is true.
And when we say their truth,
dude, we should do a whole stream soon where I mythicism pill you guys when we speaking of history. This is the way that we talk about history as if it hasn't been lied about is just so stupid.
it's actually not true. It's their opinion, and it's their wrong opinion.
They're reinterpreting language to make it sound a little bit more convincing, but it's not going to work.
There are certain kind of roles of leadership that there is gender disparity in, because guess what? Men and women are different. They have different strengths and weaknesses, different characteristics that they more naturally adopt to in certain circumstances, and that results in different performances in different roles. And because men and women need to work together to build society, what often happens, there's exceptions of course, but what often happens is that the best person for the job usually ends up filling that job because of those characteristics, with exceptions of course. But it ended up happening that men naturally gravitate towards outwards flowing power, which can also be construed as political power. But women, they didn't have no power. Women often adopts and fall into the role of what is considered inwards flowing power, like managing a household.
Managing the household. Literally, what was his fucking name that made this argument to me what was his name? Oh man, I can't remember. I'm sure someone in chat remembers his name. I had a whole conversation with this guy who disagreed that patriarchy exists. And Beckett, that's who it was, dumbass, made the same exact argument that Shadiversity is making. And he was just too proud to agree with me, even though he agreed with all the premises. He didn't agree with the conclusion. Yeah, super, super stupid. This is not access to power at all. Can you imagine if the roles were reversed? He would not make Shad to illustrate to you how this is not equality access to power. Would you be comfortable with all women reversing this role overnight and men being the primary caretakers and women being the primary breadwinners by society's design? Would you enjoy that life? You know what I mean? Of course not. He would make a bioessentialism argument or something, though. He'd be like, well, women are more suited for that. It's like, well, no, I bet then. Try it out. Try it out. He won't.
Managing processes between communities and relationships and peoples and connections, stuff like that. And women had a huge influence throughout history of that. And it was both men and women encouraging the other to move. You want to know, shock horror, right?
Shock horror.
Who also actually encouraged men to take positions of leadership because that involved sometimes really aggressive negotiations, often leading to war that needed an intimidative kind of presence to be able to maintain authority. Women wanted men in those positions, historically, okay? And guess what? They would then also influence the men and counsel them, and a good leader would listen. But it also goes to the rest. Women had huge amounts of power in their own more stereotypical roles historically. But
yeah, this is a terrible
people
argument,
like,
dude.
Will Farrow
Actually
here,
terrible.
completely ignorant on the reality here. And what's also really interesting is
everyone
the
else is
fact
ignorant.
that he is capable of saying this statement, right, and being praised by the mainstream. Okay, we're not praising him, so there are pockets, of course, that call this bullcrap out for what it is. But he can mostly, for the large majority, say it and be praised by the institutes that have most influence and power, so large companies, governments, and stuff like that. Right? The fact that he can say that about men, saying women should just run everything, right? But he can't. If he said that about, like, in reverse, they'd say, oh, men should just run everything, right? And the amount of backlash.
The amount of backlash that he would get if he said men should run everything when they do, and there are deep critiques about it, and that's like what is being said there. Wow, this guy is so fucking dumb, dude. I actually don't understand how you can be this mistaken all the time. How can he just be wrong at all turns? You'd think he'd run into like a solid argument just by being a man that should be like, I don't know, he's got a lot of success. I was told there was a meritocracy. What happened to the meritocracy? Explain.
And criticism he would get actually shows you the current state of the world as to which gender has the control and power in the current day. You already have it, essentially.
You already have it, essentially. They don't have the power. Women do not have the power. So I'm not even 100% for what Will Ferrell said. I think we need a representative. Like, if you're going to do, specifically in America, the way that we have our system, if you make no other changes, the government should look like the populace. I have many other changes that I would make, but if nothing else, it should look like the demographics that are there. And like, we said it's whitewashed. We have a few people of color. We have some women, and it's getting better, but like, it's not. We don't have a lot of queer people. We have no fucking atheists. We have like one. When we're fucking like 20%. 40% of the population is like unaffiliated or something. Getting closer. This guy is ideologically divorced. Yeah.
So many companies and institutions that are predominantly run by women, if not women, really effeminate men who act like women.
Ha 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 ha. Really effeminate men. Ha ha ha. Wow. What about this guy? Do we find, like, he could play an elf tomorrow in a movie, right? Like, you just put a little elf ears on him. You're like, oh, yeah, it's our soft elf. Hello. Although, well, he doesn't. Is Australia where the elves live and New Zealand's where the hobbits live?
it's not enough.
No.
And
But the thing is too, right? We don't want men to rule the world or run the world either. What we want is actual, genuine equality in the term of like
just the right person who's good for the job
Exactly.
to do the job. And gender doesn't mean spit. And if it ends like
Gender doesn't mean spit. What about a non-binary person that's really good at the job? Well, I don't know. What about a trans person that's good at the job? Oh, what about a gay person, a queer person? What about someone who is... Look at Ghost Dad, everyone. Everyone look at Ghost Dad. He will return. Everyone look at Ghost Dad. Brooke made something new. Could be questioning. You don't even know. They could be a ghost too. Ooh.
legitimately, if more women were representing, like the other, it isn't actually just because a lot of women actually fall into the same kind of political divide as men. It's actually there's a lot of women who just are not interested in politics and leadership, right? Like,
yeah, sure, somewhat. That's somewhat the case. Mostly because it's male dominated and they're not comfortable in those spaces because they're not, they're not treated well.
Like if you actually look up which gender consumes political content, actual
Political
news
content.
and events and studying and stuff like that.
Studying? What do you study, dude?
Men just naturally are attracted to politics more than women.
I told you he would make a bioessentialist argument. The man is super fucking right wing, obviously. He says as much. He's like, oh yeah, I like my conservative stuff.
And if you have more men interested in politics than women, guess who's going to be putting themselves up into leadership roles, right?
Mm-hmm. So normalizing women in politics is something that you're against because it's like woke garbage or something. But that's what would lead to this so-called equality that you say you want with women. I just noticed something about his glasses. They're way the fuck up here off his ears. Get glasses that fit. What is happening? I actually didn't... This is insane to me. Do you guys wear your glasses like this? I've just noticed. Now it's bugging me big time. Fuck. I've never seen anyone wear their glasses not just behind their ear like that. I've only ever done this when I was like shaving, like right here, and I wanted to be able to see. I do, you tilt them up a little bit to shave. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is bad to me. This just adds to the loony bin stuff.
Just by percentage divide, it's going to end up being the group that's doing it more often.
It's interesting that he thinks that this is just like coded in our DNA and has nothing to do with like societal pressures or the treatment of women in these like political spaces. And it's bad when you get a bunch of politics bros and there's a woman in, they turn into fucking lunatics. It's weird how all of these guys talk about how their demographics are so skewed. I wouldn't be shocked to find that it's mostly men that watch me, but I would be shocked to find that it wasn't a better spread than most of them. Like, we have lots of ladies. We have lots of people that don't observe the binary. I don't know. Silly. We have lots of AFAB people in here in general.
And so, but if it was reversed, if it was women, if they're representing my sins, everything like that, it doesn't matter, right? It's like, that's what's actually important, but not for these people, because they're actually sexist. This is a profoundly sexist statement.
I mean, libs can be sexist. Not like we have permission. I mean, just like, yeah, they do that. Women should just rule everything. I don't know, maybe. I don't know where Will Ferrell's coming from on this one. I think he's just being a lib, man. I think it's a little bit of a virtue signal, but it's like, who cares? I thought they were going to talk about multiple things. Just the Will Ferrell comment. Huh.
And they're oblivious to it. They think it's
13
actually
minutes.
equality.
14.
But it goes through, like, this is amazing, right?
Actually, no, it's actually like 10 minutes. Most of it was a fucking ad.
I've said again and again that modern day feminism isn't about equality. It's about power and revenge. That they
What's that paradigm shift?
actually don't want equality. They want
Shifting
majority.
paradigms,
They
dude.
want majority women in power. And what is Will saying? I'm sure he would say, "Oh, I'm a feminist, and this is a feminist stance." And is he pushing for equality in this statement?
No.
No. He's saying women should run everything.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it matters. It's weird to be mad about this. His talking point is tired. Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't like women, man. It is what it is. It's gay to like women, in my opinion.
So again, it's the mask office happens all over the place. Like, just, you heard of feminist monopoly, that instead of, giving,
A fair amount.
only women get 200 for passing go and men get nothing, right?
Yeah.
There's no men's dedicated award shows. So the women's dedicated, like, again, they don't want equality. They want majority and supremacy. And the reason why they justify it is they say,
Majority and supremacy. Dude, why are white men why is this what their brain does? People are asking for a share of the power at the table in an equitable fashion so that everybody gets represented and that everybody has, everyone is okay and seen after. The point of society is our collective well-being, is it not? That's what I think. To have a society is to try collectively to do fucking life, right? We just do it together. This is so silly. I do not understand at all where this comes from, like, in a person. I get that it's like a conservative, in this case Mormon, but that's still Christian, which, is a cult unto itself. I understand this, but I don't know where this, how this lives in people, and they don't ever think, can my wife do things? Is she a whole person? You know what I mean? Like, is my daughter a fucking, thinking, breathing human being with a full range of emotions and capabilities, likes and dislikes and autonomy? Do they view women as whole people?
well, men have had it this way for so long, it's women's turn. So that means they're basically saying we want to oppress who we perceive, and they're wrong, that men have been the oppressor of women through history. If there's any...
Wait, who's been the oppressor of women through history if not men? Are you serious?
A lot of situations, because we're not saying it was all perfect historically. There were situations in the past where women did have less rights and stuff, right?
Fewer rights.
But the people that actually pushed for society to be in those ways were equally women and men at the same time.
That weren't equally men? What? No. It's not equally women and men. You just agreed earlier in this video, you said that women have not had equal access to power. Said, well, they've been in the families and stuff, and the men have been running society.
And it was men that was in power, right?
Mm-hmm.
That gave women the vote. So
men in power that gave women the vote. Yeah, wow, that sounds like equality. Well, sure, you can have a vote.
oftentimes there were men pushing for actual equality in the past, as much as women. And there were...
As much as women. The men gave the women the vote. That's men. That's a W for men. It's nuts, man. Champions of not hitting your wife. Let's go.
There were a lot of women who were against that. Like in terms of women getting the vote, there was a lot of women
We have
against
a
it.
lot of cobblers? Oh, no.
Because they were saying that would make them eligible for the draft.
Yeah.
Right? And so...
Eligible for the draft. Why don't we just now have a draft?
What you see when you actually study history is the times in the past where you would perceive inequality. It was...
When you actually study history. When you actually study history, you do not see women share power.
Also women in that time period who wanted things to be that way. And when people didn't want it that way, you could also see a large group of men pushing for changes in society. It wasn't just us versus them, okay?
To think that some men have solidarity with women. I thought they were woke. Isn't that woke?
They don't understand this. That's far too...
Dude, get you someone that looks at...
It wasn't just us versus them, okay?
That looks at you the way Shad's Milky Boy looks at him. Look at that. Holy shit. Good lord. What's he looking at? Is he looking at his lips, dude? Oh, fuck, I think he is. Let's draw a line. Let's see. I think he's it's red. Let's see where those eyes are going. Oh, yeah, it's definitely his lips. Look at that. That's conclusive proof. Oh, man. Yeah, you can see it. It's tough out there. Maybe a little smooch. Look at him. He's ready. This ring doesn't mean nothing. It's the same shade of his skin on purpose, so you mistake it for not a ring. He doesn't want you to see it at first. It's time. I don't want to save changes, no. Actually, I do want to tweet that, I think.
But they don't understand this. That's far too much nuance for people. Instead, there was
the-
all horrible inequality in the past.
The nuance is being lost on us, not on Shad. Shad is the one that's up to date. He has all the facts. Mormon, by the way.
Because it was, that justifies them oppressing men now. And they like it. They actually...
Oppressing men. Oppressing men by having a women's awards show in Hollywood. The oppression of men. God, I feel like such a victim. Oh, God. I've been victimized by the women's awards show. This is the actual state of men now.
Get satisfaction out of this level of inequality and bigotry and oppression. And this is just another statement that proves it.
Is it? It's another... How... Will Ferrell saying women should run the world is not an example of men being oppressed. Someone crusade him. We need the crusades to happen. Wait, he'd be on the side of the crusades, on the side of God. Satan, we need Satan to wield a holy war against the crusaders. The Satanists will be wearing just regular hoodies with no chainmail, so they'll be more nimble and quick. They only add decks to their AC. This is stupid. Shadiversity is very stupid, guys. He's a very, very dumb guy. Can you believe I don't think Will Ferrell's statements will rock the boat politically? I don't think the oppression of men is looming because Will Ferrell decided that he wants to vote for Hillary or something.